Good morning, this is Cullen with Tesla's Wild. I hope you all are having a great day. I have the day off of work because it has been absolutely nuts and I just needed a vacation. So I just am taking a nice fun drive around Denver and just cruising around in the Model 3 because it's just enjoyable. All right, I have owned my Tesla Model 3 Performance for 6 months now. So I thought it would be a good idea to do a 6-month review. I'd like to go over everything that I love about the vehicle, and I'd also like to go over everything that I've found that is wrong with the vehicle, or that is going wrong, or that concerns me. This is just going to be a comprehensive review, so I'm going to try and cover as much as possible. This will likely be a longer video, so please bear with me. I will, as always, put a highlights comment down below where you can link to specific portions of the video. With that said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and browse the channel. It does truly mean the world to me. We will see you shortly. So the first thing that I would like to cover is how much I regret not getting paint protection film or ceramic coating or anything like that. I've always heard that Teslas have soft paint. I have never gotten paint protection film on any of my previous vehicles, so I never thought it would be a problem. It seems like it's a pretty big divide where you sit on the Tesla soft paint issue. I am definitely on the side of it being soft. In the 6 months of ownership, I have at least 10, 11, 12 rock chips in the hood, a few nicks in the quarter panels, and scratches almost everywhere. It just seems like it's very, very easy to scratch, and I completely regret not getting paint protection film. So I'm probably going to have the entire hood repainted, as well as a few touch-ups all around. So the first is this little nick right here. Don't know how this will show up on camera, but this is by far the worst. It's a rock chip, and it's just all the way down to the base coat there. Got these three. This one right above the symbol here, one to the other side, that guy, this one, and I think that's the majority of them, but still it's quite a few. Oh, sorry, I forgot about this one, as well as one right on the edge of the frunk here. Next issue that I'd like to talk about is the trunk and the ceiling and the way it works when you open the trunk. In Colorado, it snows a lot, and I'll show you guys a video after this. When you open the trunk and there's snow on it, or there's snow on the rear window, it will slide into the trunk and it will all dump right in there, which is pretty funny. It's pretty inconvenient. It hasn't caused any problems yet, but it's just pretty silly that there's no blocker or anything to prevent the snow or the moisture from getting into the trunk. So you just have to be careful, especially in my case. My snow brush was in the trunk, so I couldn't get to it without opening the trunk. I could have gone in through the back and folded the seats down, but that's just not something that I wanted to do. It is a pretty funny issue. Oh, okay, so another problem is this. Oh boy. Thing that I've noticed, I'm sure you've read all about it, are the cold weather issues. It does not seem like Tesla put a lot of thought into cold weather design on the Model 3. The folding out door handles and the frameless door windows. I never really had a problem with it until I had a problem with it. I know that's probably pretty obvious. The door handles froze shut. The windows would not roll down, and it was nearly impossible to get in the vehicle, which is a stressful thing to wake up to and to have to deal with on the way to work the next day. None of the software updates they've pushed out have done anything for the cold weather, and unfortunately, without physical changes, none of them will do anything. First of all, the folding out door handles like this will just freeze in place. Secondly, when I do open the door, you'll notice that the window rolls down a little bit. The seal along here will freeze, and it will prevent the window from rolling down at all. So if you can even get the door handle to open, the window won't roll down and will not clear this frame that it tucks into here. There's a couple videos online of somebody who managed to get it open, but then shutting it, the window ran into the chrome trim and scratched the shit out of it. which is no fun. The next thing that I've noticed about the vehicle is the cold weather range. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how much range I use on the regular, and it's usually around 19 to 23%. When the weather drops below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, I've noticed using up to double what I've used in the past, especially as that temperature drops lower and lower. I started with 90% and ended up making it back home with around 55. So that's about 35% as compared to the normal 19, and it wasn't even below 30 degrees Fahrenheit at that point.
All right, so we have made it home, and as you can see, we are at 55%. Compared to the normal 71%, this is quite a change due to the cold weather. Currently 33 degrees.
So the next thing that I'd like to talk about is the seats and the white leather. I know this was a bold choice, and I wasn't sure about it, but I figured, why not? I'm young, I'm single. This is the time to make this my absolute dream car. The white is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And as Elon said, it is very, very stain-proof. As you guys know, I am a coffee fanatic. I have definitely spilled coffee on these seats multiple times, and it is wiped up just fine. It seems like the prolonged exposure is the problem here. My driver's seat is starting to show some slight discoloration. There's a very defined pattern, so it makes me think that it is along the seat heating elements. The seat heaters do get very, very hot. It's definitely getting darker. Along with that, I am noticing some slight wear as well, some slight wrinkles that are showing up. All in all, the seats are holding up really well, but they are getting some slight discoloration, and it seems like it's more dye from your clothing seeping into the seats, or maybe it's something with the heated seats getting so hot that they are burning in. I am noticing some slight discoloration of the white leather. Nothing extremely noticeable, but I am noticing some darker shades showing up here. Some of them are definitely darker than others because they're... Oh, motherfucker. Some of them are definitely darker than others. They're showing up kind of in these lines, and I'm wondering if that's kind of where the seat heating elements are. So when you have those seat heaters on, it seems like it's maybe either burning the seat or pulling dye off of your clothing and getting a little bit darker. Some slight discoloration here as well. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the maintenance on the vehicle. Tesla does have maintenance plans, and they do charge for these things, but I can tell you that they're not necessary unless you absolutely notice something that's going wrong. The maintenance on these vehicles is absolutely minimal. There's really nothing you need to do. The main things that are going to impact you are tires and washer fluid. Alright, so we're going to show you the only maintenance I've had to do on my Tesla so far. It is a doozy, so prepare yourself. And that's it. Alright, so another thing that I would like to talk about is overall range with the performance variant and any range degradation that I've seen. As far as range degradation goes, I haven't seen any. I do calculations every so often. They don't give you an exact number, but they do give you a good idea of the overall capacity of your battery. The performance variant and its range, Tesla claims it as 310 miles. That is the EPA rated range of this vehicle. I don't see it. I'd say at maximum, this car would definitely get around 280. That's if you're driving very, very conservatively. It does have the bigger brakes, which equates to more weight. It also has the 20-inch wheels, which also equates to more weight. The dual motor is also more weight. So we're losing a lot of efficiency. On top of that, you do have this insane acceleration. It is so much fun. I use the acceleration all the time, which definitely decreases my range. I bought this car to drive it, not to hypermile it. We're currently at 68%. We are going to switch over to distance. We are rated at 210 miles. So we are going to do 210 miles divided by 0.68 or 68%. It's not a perfect calculation. 308.8 miles to 309. It also depends where in that 68% we are actually at, if we're closer to 69 or closer to 67. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the usability of the vehicle. As you guys probably know from my other videos, I am an avid snowboarder. During the summers, I love to mountain bike and mountain board, and I longboard, and I do all of these activities. So one of the things I was slightly concerned with the Tesla Model 3 is how usable it would be. I can tell you that there's absolutely no concerns with the usability in this vehicle. I'm able to put whatever I want in here, and it has absolutely no problem storing it. I also love driving to the mountains, and I was a little bit worried about the kind of toll that it would take on the range of the Model 3. It takes about 35% of range or 30% of range, but there is a supercharger in Silverthorne, so it's not a problem. So the usability of these is off the charts. There's really no problems, and putting whatever I need in the trunk is working just fine. The trunk is enormous, and it is very, very usable. All right, so we're going to show you some of the practicality here. Got my snowboard, put my snowboarding gear in there. All right, so we have snowboard, longboard, tennis bag, snowboarding gear, and there's just a bunch of room to spare. So you can fit so much back here, and that's only with one half of the seats folded down. If I fold it. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the software availability. This has become a pretty major annoyance. My screen literally just shut off, so not sure what's going on with that. Hopefully it turns back on here. You just have to sit and patiently wait. I've been stuck on 2019.8.5 for over almost a month now. This is the one that has the intermittent screen shutting off, and that literally just happened during this video. The screen went totally dark while driving. And the only way to fix this has been to pull over. Luckily this time I was able to do the screen reset with the 2 scroll wheels while driving. In the past this hasn't worked. It would be great if they released something on the UI to allow you to download software updates at your own liking. So people like me that are stuck on these software updates with bugs don't have to deal with this and can get a more recent software update that fixes these bugs, hopefully. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the autopilot usage. I have always loved to drive. I love having my hands on the wheel. I used to love shifting. I always have had manual cars, so I wasn't sure if I'd like autopilot or not. I didn't even order the vehicle with it. I did end up ordering the autopilot and FSD packages when the prices were temporarily lowered. And I can tell you that I have come to use these every single day. I am using them right now. They are absolutely phenomenal. They just take the daily stress and the daily monotony out of driving, and it's just so much fun. Not much to really show you there, but I can tell you, coming from somebody who loves to drive, the autopilot and FSD features are absolutely amazing. Doing a really good job making it around this corner, down to 45. The next thing I'd like to talk about are some brake issues that I've come to notice. You use the brakes in this vehicle so little that they seem to, I don't really know, they seize up, they've become very, very noisy. There's times where they are locked on the rotors and will make a big bang as they finally release. You do so much of your braking with the regen that the brakes themselves don't get used enough to stay reliable. All of these pops and bangs and squeaks make me a bit nervous for the longevity of the brakes. I haven't noticed any issues yet, but this is not very comforting. It's pretty disconcerting. Oh yeah. You guys hear that? The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the daily driving enjoyment. This car is absolutely the most fun vehicle I have ever driven. I can't tell you how much I look forward to driving it every day. Driving to and from work are some of the highlights of my day. It's such a fun vehicle to drive. The electric torque, you just never get used to it. The way that this thing puts you down in your seat is just a feeling to behold, and I absolutely love it. The other thing is you never have to worry about performance decreases. Well, not never, but you don't have to worry about them like you do with ICE vehicles. In Colorado, the altitude and the temperature all have a major impact on your ICE vehicle. on the amount of power that it produces and the acceleration that it can do that day. That is not the case with this vehicle. It is always fun. It is always ready. It is just the most amazing vehicle that I have ever owned, and I absolutely love to drive it. Woo. Oh. Oh, every single time. It is just such a rush to do that. I just will never get used to that. All right, so there we have it. Those are all of the things that I could think of that you guys probably would like to know about owning a Tesla for 6 months. Overall, this has been the best vehicle I have ever owned. It is the best purchase I've ever made. I love driving this car. All of the things that I've mentioned are pretty minor. They are nothing that will absolutely prevent you from driving the vehicle. They are just things that I've noticed over 6 months of ownership. My biggest regret is not getting paint protection film or ceramic coating, something to protect the paint on this vehicle. I am in the group that believes the Tesla paint is very soft or very thin. I've just never seen the rate of chipping and scratching that I have on this vehicle in any of my other vehicles, and I've never had paint protection film or ceramic coating on any of them either. So something to keep in mind if you do get a Tesla Model 3, it is well worth it. That's all I have to really talk about. I hope this provided some light and some information on what it's like to own a Tesla Model 3 and the performance variant for 6 months. All of these vehicles are pretty new, so a lot of people don't know a lot about them, but I thought I would do my best to provide some information. These are some of the issues and the benefits that I've seen over the time of ownership. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It does truly mean the world to me. If you did like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button below. It is so important. Be on the lookout for further videos. Please feel free to browse the channel. I hope you all have a great day, and we will see you next time.